Wow, it feels really strange trying to sit down to film a video. It's been so long, I think about 6 months. I just kept thinking when things calm down, I'll film an update, and then I tried a couple of times to film an update and it just didn't happen. And I kind of realised that things aren't going to calm down, and this is just life now with 2 toddlers. So we're just going for it. I'm going to update you in this rather messy season of life. So grab a cup of tea and I will let you know what I've been up to. So a lot's been going on here. I started this channel when my twins were babies and it was all about decluttering, fly lady routines, and I'm very interested in slow living and how I was trying to incorporate that and kind of trying and failing, and it was all becoming a little bit of a struggle. And life, as you know, as I'm sure you'll know with children, changes rapidly and everything's just completely different now, and we've had loads of life changes. I think when I last spoke to you, the boys had been in nursery for a few months and we were having back-to-back illnesses, and this first winter of nursery, it is really brutal, and that continued well into the start of this year. I would say springtime it started to calm down. And then at the same time they started moving into their tantrum era, which has been a challenge with 2 of them, let me tell you. But we're all learning how to deal with that now, how to deal with the big emotions, how to deal with them when they're struggling with things, and it's definitely getting easier. I would say they are 21 months now, and I would say from 20 months onwards, everything's got a little bit easier. And I think one of the main reasons is because they are now walking confidently. They can get to where they want whenever they want to, and they are also communicating a lot better, so their speech is coming along and they know how to tell us what they want. So I think we're all understanding each other better, but there was definitely a rough patch between like 12 to 18 months where things were just a little bit crazy. So my days are pretty full on from when they get up in the morning to when they go to bed at night, so I don't get that break in the middle of the day anymore where they're napping, which was really nice to just reset the house. I don't have that now. I'm either walking with the pram or doing a driving nap, which I actually love because it's still a little bit of a mental break from being mum whilst they're sleeping, and especially if I'm walking, the weather's really nice now. We're actually having a heat wave at the moment, so I'm a little on the warm side. To appreciate it being a little bit cooler, but oh my gosh, it's so much nicer than the winter. The winter, I'm usually a winter girl. I usually love the winter, but winter with toddler illnesses, it's just not the one. So my routines around the house kind of disappeared a little bit. I wasn't sticking to any of my Fly Lady zones. If you've watched my Fly Lady videos, I do stick to my morning and evening routines. They're like my bread and butter. They keep me ticking over, but my standards have definitely dropped for the house, and I think that's one of the things that's helped me the most. And I've kind of had this big like mental shift into what my priorities are and how the house needs to stay in some sort of order, but the whole like deep cleaning and stuff, it's gone by the wayside. I think initially I felt like I was failing by not keeping up with everything and by like struggling to keep the boys occupied all day. Screen time crept in for them. We do a little bit of screen time now, and I would honestly say that I have been humbled in the last 6 months as to how hard parenting is. And obviously I said it's getting easier again now, and I think there's just peaks and troughs, but I think the version of me a year ago would really have judged my parenting now, some of the things that we do now just to get through the day. But until you're in it with toddlers, you just don't know. So I would say, I've definitely been humbled, very much been humbled. Much more of like an easygoing parenting style now, I would say. And it's been work to find the balance between the boys climbing the walls at home because they're bored of being at home and overstimulating them by being too much and going through too many transitions in the day. So that's something that I'm really working with now, because we'd sort of decided getting them out was the best thing to do, just get them outside, get them out of the house. But then sometimes if you've done too many things, they've been in and out of the car too much, in and out of the high chair too much, in and out of the pram, that's too many transitions for them, and then they struggle with that as well. So trying to find a happy balance of being at home and being out, and that is our current challenge. I've made some notes down here, so if I'm looking down here, that's why, because there's a lot to update on. I couldn't remember it all off the top of my head. So I ended up setting up my own business. You might remember that I was looking for a job after being made redundant. When I returned from maternity leave, the company I worked for closed down, and I needed to secure a job by February or we'd lose our nursery funding. So I won't go into too much detail on this here because I think I could be much more informative for you in another video if this is something that you're interested in. But I was an executive assistant before. My background is in EAPA office management work, so I set up basically as like a virtual assistant doing that remotely, and so that's what I've been doing on the 2 days. I have a lot more to say on this topic. I think it's really difficult to work as a mum, and I don't think that's talked about very much, just how stressful and intense it is to go from, you know, being up all night with a poorly toddler to then turning up to work the next morning and having to be super organised for somebody else. I have a lot to say on that topic, so I'm going to save that for another video, but I haven't quite filled my 2 full days with clients, but that's what I'm doing on the 2 nursery days, getting as much cleaning around the house as I can done, and then kind of trying to set up my own business, advertise myself and work for my existing clients. So fingers crossed I can keep that going. And on a slightly sadder note, we lost our old dog Molly, which was a really difficult time. She was very old, bless her. She was in nappies, she'd been incontinent for a while, and she eventually went off her leg. So that was a really sad time for us, and another big change to our lifestyle. And I think life is a lot easier now because she was really difficult to look after. So life around the house is actually a lot easier and lighter. Now we just have our one dog. She's a lot easier to look after, but it didn't make the whole process any easier. It was a really difficult time, and it's taken a little while to get past that, I think. As if all of that wasn't enough, we have decided to move house. We're in the process of buying a new house. Yes, I think we're crazy, and I haven't finished yet. It's a renovation. It's a renovation. We are crazy, I'm sure. No, the new house is full of character and charm, and the opportunity arose because it backs onto my dad and my stepmom's house, and that was a dream. We already live around the corner from them, but that is kind of like a dreamy thing of like having a gate for the children to run through and their grandparents' house, and I think it will just be really special. It's got a nice big garden, and I'm imagining like long summer evenings out in the garden, the boys playing out in the garden in their wellies in the winter, like all year round, getting outside, planting with the boys. There's a big greenhouse in the garden. We have got really lucky with this house, and the interiors are dated. It needs renovating, but we're very much seeing it as a life's work and not to rush it. And I was at first worried because we've fully renovated the house that we're in now, and it feels very like aesthetically pleasing and to our taste, and I was worried how I would feel being in a more dated home. And as the months have gone on in the process of buying it, we've been back to the house multiple times, and I actually really like it. Like, the initial feeling of the house has so much soul that I very much am seeing past the interiors now. I mean, ask me after a month of living in it and I might tell you something different, but I'm feeling like there's going to be a different pace of life there, and that every time I go in the house it makes me feel like calmer and settled. It's a forever home, and it just feels like our home. I don't know how else to explain it, but we should be moving in the next few weeks. And I would love to bring you along to sort of show you the process of us renovating a house slowly, and, you know, life out in the garden. Maybe we'll get chickens. We've got lots of thoughts and ideas, but we'll see when we get in. Another thing that I just wanted to touch on here, but I hope to do a whole video about in the future, is how to explain this? I felt like I got myself into not a very good place at some point over this last 6 months, and I felt so like wound up and angry all the time, and I was snapping, and I was just feeling like I was failing and falling behind. And I eventually came to the realization that my phone was a big problem. I actually put my phone through the washing machine, and that was by accident. Like, I put it in with the clothes wash by accident. And that was the hugest turning point for me, is I had a whole weekend with no phone. So just before I did that, I'd had a couple of weeks where I hadn't had Instagram or social media on my phone. I was only consuming long form content like at a mindful time, and I wasn't going on my phone, and I was feeling so much better. And I'd really noticed a difference. And then I had the weekend completely without my phone because I put it through the wash and it needed to dry out. So by some miracle it's still working. I don't know how, and I don't think I would have been mad if it wasn't working and I didn't have a phone. But that has been a real shift for me in how I feel, in how present I am, in how I am as a mum, in how enjoyable I'm finding the housework and the children. And I really needed that, and it's something that I hope to keep up and to talk about a little bit more. So to summarise, I think we're entering a bit of a new era in the channel, this channel, and in life in general. I think there'll still be decluttering and home routines, but I think there'll be a little bit more focus on just slowing down and enjoying normal family life. I think coming off all the social medias has made me really just appreciate normal life and not aesthetically pleasing, perfectly curated things, and just allowed me the space to, for example, bake a cake on the weekend with the boys, whereas I just felt too busy. Like I was too busy, there was too many jobs to do, I couldn't possibly stop to bake a cake, but I could scroll Instagram for half an hour. I just feel like, yeah, I've started to live my life a little bit more and be in my life a little bit more instead of looking at what other people are doing with their lives. And I'm very much rambling now, I'm sorry. Yes, maybe one of the worst things about phones and social media is you're not seeing normal people, really. Or I certainly wasn't following normal people. And that's why I really like the long form content on YouTube, because I feel like you see a lot more of real life. And that's what I hope I can share here. Thank you for watching. I really do appreciate anyone who subscribed over the last 6 months while I've not been here. Thank you so much. And to those who were subscribed before, thank you. I know a lot of you are twin mums too, so if you have twins and you ever think I've got it all together, how has she got it all together? Trust me, I haven't had it all together. I have been humbled, like I said, very much humbled the last 6 months, so I hope that can be relatable. And yeah, thank you so much for being here, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.